Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum, dear students. How are you? I hope so that you're fine. This lecture is brought to you by Rangers Public School and College, Mandi Bhaudin, Class 7, and subject English Literature, book name The Lost World. Topic is the reading of chapter number 1, and it's our third week, that is from 15th June to 19th June, and it's the third lecture of this week, and I'm Muhammad Imran. Objectives. At the end of the lesson, students will be able to read fluently with the correct pronunciation, to learn the meanings of difficult words, and to point out important incidents of the chapter, and they will also be able to make sentences of difficult words. A brief introduction to the novel The Lost World. The Lost World is a science fiction novel by the British writer Arthur Conan Doyle, published in 1912, concerning an expedition to a plateau in the Amazon basin of South America, where prehistoric animals still survive. It was originally published serially in the Strand magazine, illustrated by New Zealand-born artist Harry Rowntree, during the months of April to November 1912. The character of Professor Challenger was introduced in this book. The novel also describes a war between indigenous people and a vicious tribe of ape-like creatures. Now, I am going to read the text of chapter 1, so listen carefully and underline the difficult words. When I was a young man in my early 20s, I fell in love with a girl named Gladys Hungerton. Gladys was the most beautiful girl I have ever seen. She had dark hair, large brown eyes, and delicate ivory skin. Unfortunately, Gladys was not in love with me. Though we spent many hours together talking and laughing, she regarded me as a friend and nothing more. Despite this, I made the decision to propose to Gladys. I knew there was a chance she would reject my proposal, but I had to try. And so, one cold October evening, I visited Gladys at her house and asked her to marry me. "Oh, Edward," said Gladys after a long pause, "we have such a beautiful friendship. Why can't we simply remain friends?" "Because I love you, Gladys," I explained. "I want to spend the rest of my life with you." Gladys gave me a look of pity. "But I don't love you, Edward, and I have never loved you." "Why can't you love me, Gladys?" I cried. "It is my appearance." Gladys squeezed my hand gently. "No, of course not," she said. "It is my character." I asked, "Tell me what you want me to change." Gladys sighed. "Edward, let me explain to you what kind of man I want. I want a man who has no fear of death, a man who has traveled the world and who has had many exciting adventures. I want to marry a man who is brave, heroic, and famous." "Right," I said. "If you want a brave and heroic man, I will do something that will make you proud." Gladys laughed at my enthusiasm. "What are you going to do?" she asked. "I don't know," I replied. "But if I do something great, will you marry me then?" "We shall see," said Gladys with a smile. "Now you are working the night shift at the paper and you are running late." I said good night to Gladys and walked briskly to the offices of Daily Gazette, where I worked as a journalist. When I arrived, I immediately made my way to the news editor's office. "Good evening, Mr. McCardle," I said, knocking on the door. "Hello, Mr. Malone," replied McCardle. "I must say I really enjoyed your latest article. You have done some excellent work for us." "Thank you," I said. "What did you want to see me about?" "I would like you to send me on a mission for the paper." "What sort of mission did you have in mind, Mr. Malone?" "An adventure," I replied. "A dangerous adventure." McCardle raised an eyebrow. "You seem very eager to lose your life," he said. "I need to do something heroic," I explained. "My future depends on it." McCardle looked at me curiously. "I'm afraid we only send very experienced journalists on important missions," he said. "Wait a minute. I have an idea. Would you be interested in interviewing Professor George Challenger?" "Professor Challenger," I repeated, "the famous zoologist. Didn't he punch a journalist from the Telegraph the other day?" McCardle nodded. "2 years ago, Professor Challenger went on an expedition to South America. When he came back last year, he told everyone that he had seen dinosaurs and other strange beasts. Most people think he's lying about what he saw. The journalists from the Telegraph called him a liar too. That's why he punched him. After the encounter, Challenger stopped doing interviews. Perhaps you can convince him to do one last interview. I'm sure other readers would be interested to find out more about his adventures." McCardle handed me a thick file. "Here's some information on the professor. You might need it." I took the file and looked through the notes. "Do you think he is telling the truth?" I asked. McCardle shook his head. "I doubt it very much," he said. "All right," I said. "I will pay Professor Challenger a visit." I returned to my office and wrote a letter to the professor asking him to meet me the following Wednesday. Then I spent the rest of the shift reading through McCardle's notes. I had no idea then that my interview with Professor Challenger was about to change my life forever. Now here are some important vocabulary words from chapter number 1. Words and their meanings are given. The first word is delicate, fine, elegant, sensitive. Second is ivory. It's a kind of a hard, creamy white substance. Third is exclaimed, declare. On number 4, squeezed, firmly press or pinch. Number 5, sighed, exhale or emit a long breath. Number 6, heroic, brave or courteous. Number 7, enthusiasm, eagerness. Number 8, briskly, energetic way. Number 9, zoologist, an expert in classification and distribution of animals. And number 10 is expedition, mission or journey. And number 11, encounter, confront, come up against. So students, write these words on your notebooks and learn these words carefully. Now, here is the summary of chapter number 1. Ned Malone is spending another evening in the company of Gladys Hungerton and her father. Her father thinks that Ned is visiting him, but Ned is actually there to see Gladys. He has fallen in love with the lovely Gladys and is working up the courage to express his feeling to her. At last, he is alone with her. So he is thinking of how to propose to her, but at last, one cold October evening, he proposed her, but she said that she doesn't love him. She tells him that she has always wanted a man of daring who would risk his life in the pursuit of great deeds. She wants to be the woman behind a man of such great accomplishments. She tells him she wants to marry a famous man. Gladys asserts that he needs to make his own chances and then go after them. Ned leaves her to fulfill his mission of becoming an adventurer and risk all to win the heart of Gladys. Now, Edward Malone is a reporter for the Daily Gazette. He approaches his editor, McCardle, with a request that he be sent on a mission for the newspaper. He wants a story with which earn him fame and Gladys' respect. He does have an idea for a story for Edward Malone, though it seems he has been following Professor Challenger, who after an expedition in South America 2 years prior made some claims which he was not able to prove. McCardle wants to expose Professor Challenger as fraud to the world. The professor has already pinned one reporter who called him a liar. So Malone was excited to interview Professor Challenger and was hopeful that this interview will change his whole life.
Now students, this is your home task that solve exercise number 2, 3 and 4 on page number 58 and 59 from the activity section, and also make the sentences of the following words. Number 1, delicate. Number 2, encounter. Number 3, expedition. Number 4, squeezed. And number 5, sight.
Okay students, our today's lesson comes to an end. Allah Hafiz. Thank you. Take care. Stay home, stay safe.